You forgot what it feels like to not be exhausted. That is one of the specific cruelties of emotional exhaustion. It does not arrive as a dramatic event. It arrives so gradually that the new baseline becomes the only baseline the person remembers. The weight that has been present for weeks or months begins to feel like the natural condition of the interior rather than the accumulated cost of what the weeks and months produced. And on a Saturday morning like this one, when the week is over and the rest is supposed to begin, the exhaustion is still there. And the person realizes, perhaps with some shock, that they cannot remember the last time it was not there. This is different from being tired. Tired resolves with rest. Emotional exhaustion does not resolve with the same rest. The sleep that repairs the body does not reach the place where the emotional exhaustion lives. The weekend that restores the person who was merely overworked does not restore the person whose emotional reserves have been depleted at a deeper level. The emotional exhaustion requires a different kind of restoration, a reaching in rather than a laying down. And this Saturday morning, before the day has filled with the pleasant alternatives that do not quite reach the place that needs reaching, you came here. To the source that reaches in. To the one who restores what the sleep cannot. To the presence that offers what the emotional exhaustion specifically requires, and that the exhausted person can receive even when the exhaustion is at its deepest. His word declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 3, that he restores my soul, not manages, not sustains at the depleted level, restores. The shepherd reaches into the soul and does the work of restoring what the weeks depleted. The restoration is specific. The soul that was emotionally exhausted is specifically restored, not to a generic baseline, to what it was before the exhausting began. And the restoring is the shepherd's act, not the sheep's effort. Before we enter this prayer, write in the comments right now, Lord, I release the emotional exhaustion I have been carrying. I breathe in your peace. I trust you with the restoring. Write it as the releasing and the breathing, both. The letting go and the receiving in. That is what this Saturday morning is for. The people reading those comments right now have been carrying something similar. The emotional exhaustion is one of the most common and least named conditions of the person who loves genuinely and gives fully and shows up faithfully. You are in good company here this morning. Come back tomorrow morning. We begin every day together, and the Sunday prayer is the preparation for the week that follows. Subscribe so the mornings you most need this find you here. Now let us release the exhaustion and breathe the peace. Lord, my God and my Father, I come before you on this Saturday morning and I release, not just the week's exhaustion, the accumulated exhaustion, the months of carrying that the weeks built on, the layers that each demanding season added without the full restoration happening between them, the emotional cost that the faithfulness required, and that was paid, and that was not fully replenished before the next season's cost arrived. I release the relationship exhaustion, the sustained emotional labor of being present to people who need presence, consistently, genuinely, beyond what was comfortable or convenient, the giving that the love required and that the love is glad to have given, and the cost of that giving, real and accumulated, released now into the hands that receive it without the weight transferring back. I release the caregiving exhaustion, the specific weight of being the person who holds things together, who monitors the well-being of the people they love, who anticipates the needs before they are expressed and responds before the response is specifically requested, the caregiving that is often invisible even to the person receiving the care. The exhaustion of the invisible labor released. I release the faith exhaustion, the cost of continuing to trust through the seasons where the trusting was not confirmed by the visible evidence, the prayer sustained through the apparent silence, the hope held through the disappointment that arrived instead of the answered prayer, the faithfulness that continued in the absence of the felt confirmation that the faithfulness was producing anything. That specific exhaustion, the faith in the dark cost, released now, and I release the performance exhaustion. The energy spent managing the exterior presentation while the interior was carrying what the exterior could not show, the professional adequacy maintained while the reserves were lower than the adequacy suggested. The relational consistency offered while the interior was less consistent than the offering implied. The gap between the performance and the actual, the energy of sustaining that gap, released, all of it, into your hands, right now, fully released. Take a breath with the releasing. Feel what it is like to not be holding all of that for this moment. The hands that were gripping can open, the shoulders that were raised against the weight can come down slightly. The chest that was braced can expand into the breath that the releasing created space for. The releasing is real. The hands that received it are real. The weight transferred, and the interior that released it has room that it did not have at the beginning of this prayer. Your word declares in the book of 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7 to cast all your anxiety on him because he cares for you, not the portion the person has decided is spiritually appropriate to release. All, the full accumulated weight, cast into the hands of the one who cares for the person who cast. And the casting is specific. He cares for you, not for the management of the situation. For you, the specific, named, known person who arrived here on a Saturday morning with the emotional exhaustion that was too much to carry any further. Lord, I release the emotional exhaustion I have been carrying. I breathe in your peace. I trust you with the restoring. And after the releasing, the breathing, take a breath right now, a real one. Not the held, shallow breath of the emotionally exhausted person who has been bracing against the weight. The full breath, the breath that expands the chest into the space the releasing created. The breath of the person who put something down and whose body can now do what the carrying was preventing. In, fully. The breath of the person who released. Out, slowly. The residual, what the breath carries out of the body, is not nothing. It is the physical expression of the releasing that happened in the interior. The breath and the interior move together. The full breath is the body following where the prayer is leading. One more, again, in and out, fully. The emotionally exhausted body has been breathing shallowly for too long. The full breath is available. The space is there. The releasing created it. That breath is the peace arriving. Not dramatically, the way the morning arrives after the long night, quietly, with the specific quality of something that was absent and is now present. The peace is in the breath is in the peace, and the Saturday morning that opened this way is already different from the Saturday morning that was before the releasing began. Father, I want to name what the peace specifically provides, that the emotional exhaustion was preventing, the capacity for joy. The emotionally exhausted person is not joyless because they forgot the good things. They are joyless because the joy requires the interior space that the exhaustion was occupying. Joy is not compatible with full interior occupation. It requires room. And the exhaustion was using the room that the joy would have moved into. The releasing creates the room, and the peace that fills the released space is the specific peace that joy can coexist with. Not manufactured happiness. The genuine possibility of receiving what this specific Saturday morning offers as good. The light through the window. The particular quality of a June Saturday that is not replicated in any other Saturday of the year. The people who share the day. The small, ordinary gifts that were always present in every week, but that the exhaustion was moving past without registering. The emotionally restored person is not the person who has no concerns. They are the person who has room to receive the good things alongside the concerning things, both present, both real. The exhaustion was only showing one side of the inventory. The peace shows the full accounting, and this Saturday specifically, June 13th, is full of good things the exhausted person was going to miss, the specific quality of a June morning that will not exist again. The people who share the day, who deserve the present version rather than the depleted version. The small grace that will arrive in an ordinary moment that only the person with room in the interior will receive. All of that is in the Saturday. The exhaustion was the only obstruction. The releasing created the eyes for it. Breathe again and look for what is good today. It is there. It was always there. The exhaustion was the lens that was filtering it out. Your word declares in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 8, verse 10, that the joy of the Lord is your strength. The joy is the strength, not the disciplined performance of positivity. The actual joy that comes from genuine receiving of what is genuinely good. And the strength is the result, not the other way around. The strength does not produce the joy produces the strength. And the joy is available to the person who created the room by releasing the exhaustion that was preventing it. Lord, I release the emotional exhaustion I have been carrying. I breathe in your peace. I trust you with the restoring. The peace also provides the capacity for genuine rest. The emotional exhaustion prevents the rest even when the body is lying down. The mind that is carrying the exhaustion processes it during the sleep that was supposed to restore. The rest is technically happening, but the interior is still working. The restoration cannot occur in the occupied interior. The released interior can rest, not just the body lying down, but the soul receiving what the sleep provides more fully when the carrying has been given to the right hands. The Saturday nap that is genuinely restoring. The Sunday morning that actually prepares for the week, the rest that reaches the place where the exhaustion was living, and the peace provides the presence for the people who share the Saturday. The emotionally exhausted person brings their depleted version to the people of the weekend, not the full version. The portion that remains after the exhaustion has taken its share. The people who love the exhausted person receive less of them than they deserve. The released, peace-filled person has more to offer, not because the concerns became smaller, because the interior is no longer fully occupied by the carrying. Your word declares in the book of Isaiah, chapter 40, verse 31, that those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Soar. That is the restored person, not the person who recovered to adequate, the person who soared. The renewal is not the return to the pre-exhaustion baseline. It is something more than that. The wings, the eagle's perspective, the wider view, available to the person who released and received and breathed the peace and trusted the restoring. That is the trajectory of this Saturday morning prayer. Not from exhausted to adequate, from exhausted to soaring, through the releasing, through the breathing, through the receiving of the restoration that the shepherd provides. Lord, I release the emotional exhaustion I have been carrying. I breathe in your peace. I trust you with the restoring. Father, I want to ask for something specific for the hours of this Saturday. Space. Not the empty space of nothing to do, the interior space that restoring requires. The space that is protected from the filling with the next demand, the pleasant distraction, the productive recovery that looks like rest but draws from the same reserves the rest was supposed to restore. The interior space that the Saturday was designed to provide. The lying down in the green pasture, the beside the quiet waters. Both of those images in Psalms 23 are images of the unhurried space, the space where nothing is required, where the only activity is the receiving, where the shepherd leads and the sheep follows, not to the next task, but to the place where the restoring happens. One specific, protected, unhurried space today. an hour, an afternoon. A particular stretch of the Saturday where the soul is given permission to simply receive what the restoring requires. Not productively, not strategically, just the receiving. The soul knows what it needs in that space. The music that reaches it. The walk that quiets it. The prayer that listens rather than asks. The conversation with the safe person where the honest interior can be present without performance. One space, protected, given to the restoring. Your word declares in the book of Mark, chapter 6, verse 31, that Jesus said, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." He said this to people who had been giving, who had been fully present to the need around them. And the instruction was not more giving. Come with me to the quiet place, rest. The invitation is for today. The quiet place is wherever the soul can receive the shepherd's restoring without the demand interrupting the receiving. Come with Jesus today to whatever the quiet place is for you. The Saturday was made for this. And Father, let the restoring that begins in this prayer continue through the Saturday's unhurried hours. Let the peace that arrived in the breath carry through the afternoon. Let the joy that the space creates build from the small things. The good things that the Saturday contains, that the exhaustion was too occupied to collect. Let the restoration be real, not performed. The actual interior coming back to itself, slowly, genuinely, in the presence of the shepherd who was leading the whole time. And when the exhaustion tries to reassert itself in the Saturday afternoon, as it sometimes does, rising again in the quiet, one breath. The releasing is still real. The hands still hold what was given. The peace is still available. Not a new prayer. The breath, the returning to the peace that was breathed in this morning. It held through the morning. It holds through the afternoon. The restoration is ongoing. Father, as this prayer closes, I want to receive one image to carry into this Saturday. The shepherd making the sheep lie down in the green pasture, not the sheep finding the pasture alone. Not the sheep generating the lying down through sufficient discipline. The shepherd making. The gentle, active, attending act of the shepherd who takes the sheep that has been going and creates the conditions for the lying down, who leads to the place, who makes the rest possible, who is present in the resting as in the going. That shepherd is present this Saturday morning. He made the pasture. He led here. He is making the lying down possible in this prayer. And the sheep, you, can lie down, not because the journey is over, because the shepherd is making the space for it, right now, in this prayer. In the Saturday morning that opened with the releasing and the breathing, lie down in this. Let the restoring happen. Trust the shepherd with the pace and the place and the provision of what the soul requires. The soul that came here exhausted is already in the green pasture. The shepherd has been here all along. Your word declares in the book of Psalms, chapter 23, verse 1 through 3, that the Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right paths for his name's sake. Refreshes, leads, makes, all of it the shepherd's action, all of it available this Saturday morning. All of it for the soul that came here with the emotional exhaustion and is leaving with the peace that the releasing created and the restoration that the shepherd began. You lacked nothing this morning. Not even the energy to come here with more than the exhausted self. The exhausted self was enough. The shepherd received it and is refreshing it. The pasture is real. The quiet waters are here. The restoring has begun. Lord, I release the emotional exhaustion I have been carrying. I breathe in your peace. I trust you with the restoring. That is the declaration this Saturday ends its opening prayer with. The exhaustion was released. The breath was taken. The peace arrived. The shepherd is doing what shepherds do. And the Saturday that opens from this prayer is different from the Saturday that would have opened without it. Not because the circumstances changed, because the interior was released into the right hands, and the peace that the releasing created is real. Lord, I release the emotional exhaustion I have been carrying. I breathe in your peace. I trust you with the restoring. Go into this Saturday. Take the breath with you. Find the quiet place the shepherd is leading to, and let the restoring happen in the unhurried hours that this day was specifically designed to provide. May the Lord restore specifically what the emotional exhaustion depleted, the capacity for joy, for rest, for genuine presence, for the soaring that is the restoration's destination. May the breath carry the peace through every moment of this Saturday. May the quiet place be found and inhabited rather than filled with the next productive alternative. And may you arrive at Sunday, having been in the green pasture, beside the quiet waters, with the shepherd who makes rather than waits. In Jesus' name, amen.